as ETC, which is funny, but then because this map is so big, being able to make sure that you have your tank there at all times is definitely something that can really be beneficial for you in team fights, because you can always stage dive in and not only just be there for the team fights, but be in the perfect position to have your tank in for the team fight.
You could see it on a couple plays from not even just this tournament, but other tournaments from Heroes, where if you get that good presence from the ETC on that stage dive behind like enemy lines, and then you come in and you push them back into your team, just a whole lot of destruction and death going on in that scenario. So you have to be a smart ETC player. On the side of Fraud Esports, they end up picking up Sergeant Hammer for their third pick.
So interesting. We haven't seen her as much lately because, of course, she had her health reduced a little bit in the last big major patch. But before that, she was in every game, either picked or banned, basically. And it's interesting to me to have her on this map. This map is so big, and she's not known for having good mobility, but pushing on this map can be so huge because the map objective attacks your structures, so it puts puts your structures as your health, your team health. And so I can see why they might be going for a push comp here, and they're going to also grab Diablo as well.
Very, very good pick for the Diablo. One of my favorite tanks currently in the game. Just his overall skills, his level 10s. He's just a fun tank to play. He's not.
He is.
He really is, and he's one of those tanks that again was not top tier a couple months ago. He was bottom of the barrel. Nobody wanted to play. He should have been in the Stitches trailer. They should have replaced because nobody was playing with Diablo. So it's nice to see Diablo back up there, along with what he can accomplish in team fights with Apocalypse, Lightning Breath, depending on what the player ends up picking in the current situation. But good tank overall, and we see some picks coming from Luxury.
Ooh, Falstad, my man. I love Falstad so much. And he is, of course, very good on this map, too. We talked about ETC's stage dive. Then to have somebody who can fly across the map with his movement instead of his mount, he can fly. That's so amazing. Surely, I would go crazy if we had a Bright Ring right now, because that would just make this team so mobile, and really taking advantage of the fact that they're going to have a mobile team versus sort of the immobile team that Fraud has with the Sergeant Hammer.
Falstad definitely has that mobility. As you said, one of your favorites. And he's another dwarf. So it works out, as we saw from last game with Wild Growth. If you're a dwarf, you can survive anything. So we're looking forward to seeing what that. Luxury still has one pick left in their basket, though, as the time pool is starting to run down. We have only Tyrande as the semi-support, and wow, was not expecting a pick like this, and they're gonna end up picking Tyrael. What do you think about that? Oh wow, that's.
I'm very surprised, because Tyrande as a single support is just, her heals did get buffed for sure in the last major patch. Yeah. But to still run her as a single support is going to be so interesting, especially where you've got a Jaina too. So that's going to be really interesting. They do have the double tanks, so maybe they're just looking to completely control the battle. Of course, ETC is so good at that by himself, but then on top of that, to have the Tyrael, who is able to just jump in and be everywhere, body blocking, also with the judgment. Ah, man, I'm interested for sure in how this will work.
I don't know if Team Luxury has been doing some private practice on this composition, but it's not something you would see very often nowadays. So I'm going to see if it helps them or if it destroys them. Because on the side of Fraud, we end up having that double support where they end up picking up Tassadar. So I don't know what's going on in Luxury's mind.
I have no clue, but I'm super excited at least. Along with Falstad being one of my favorites, Tyrael is as well, so that's going to be really fun. So we're just going to see sort of very standard pick on the side of Fraud Esports, but a little bit more that we would have seen prior to the last big patch, and then a brand new sort of pick from Team Luxury for sure.
And we were just waiting for both teams to set up the lobby and get into this next match. But overall, very unique picks this game. I'm interested to see how everything works out as we are starting to set up this lobby here. We'll get into the game very, very shortly.
I wonder, this might be a crazy thought, but I'm wondering if Tyrael will actually go Sanctification.
That's an interesting idea. I've seen it played before, and one thing that kind of works in the favor of using Sanctification is the fact that nobody knows what it is nowadays. You know, it's one of those. It's one of those sort of skills that everyone's like, what is that? Why can't I kill anybody in that circle? So I'm interested to see how it's gonna work out. But it could be a pick. You never know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm confused because I see an Abathur, but maybe that's just they haven't switched over just yet. Yeah, I'm just blown away from. I'm ready to see if this Tyrande can do it. If she can support all by herself.
We will have to see as we're still waiting for the lobby, folks. And it's a process in a half. So give us a couple seconds. We'll get into this game and be going through it. This is the second game of the day. First game was Wild Growth versus 404. Wild Growth ended up moving forward and into the next round. We are not casting their game this time around. I wonder if they made it or not, but we will see. We'll see how everything works out.
Yeah, I'm excited too about seeing Sergeant Hammer. It's been a while since we've seen her, and it makes me really happy that she's not completely gone, you know?
Yeah, she was picked pretty much 99% of the time in competitive play for the longest there. She kind of is at that point where there's other choices out there that'd be a better pick than Sergeant, so you don't see much of her today, especially how you were saying with the whole fact that her health kind of got a little bit of a nerf. So, interested to see how she's going to play out, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of times we see Zagara more. If you're gonna go for sort of a siege type person, she's got a little bit more of mobility, and she also has that added vision, but when it comes to the team fights, she's great. She does a lot of damage, but man, if you can get the other team to fight underneath Sergeant Hammer's range, oh my goodness, that is a lot of damage.
A lot of damage indeed. So, as we see, your favorite map is loading up here currently.
Yeah.
Sky Temple. And if you're not too familiar with what Sky Temple is, folks, for anyone new out there, 3 temples on the map positioned top, mid, and bottom. Now, all 3 of them do not go off. It's usually a combo of 2 or 1 until about the 20-minute mark. Control the temples, destroy your enemies, prevail and win, and move on to the next round. As we were saying, this is a best of 1, so if you do not win this, you are out, and unfortunately, you do not get the chance to play for 3rd place at the end. So I want to see how these teams end up working out here. And yeah, it looks like I have the names in the wrong spot.
With let's see, Fraud is on the red side.
Yes. No. Wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sometimes does that with the way that the lobby sets up. It sometimes can make you put them backwards. It's happened to me too. I can introduce the teams though while you're fixing that if you would like.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So on the blue side, we've got Team Luxury with Big DSI on the Tyrael, Hextra playing that Tyrande, Cinder with Jaina, Say I'm Sick on ETC, what a name, and Freezy on the Falstad.
I mean, is he sick? Does he need some cough drops or something? We can help him with that, you know?
Maybe he means sick as in bad, like good.
Could be, yeah. That's very, very true. Over on this side of Fraud Esports, we have Anxiety LOL on that Vala. Down middle lane, we have Bro Montana on that Uther, Bella Morte on Sergeant Hammer, Kiefers on that Diablo. Kiefers is a very well-known player himself, and Nugent on the Tassador down bottom.
You did so much better pronouncing that than I did the first time I had to.
Yeah, I've seen many casts that have kind of failed saying his name, so I've learned just being that stalker in the back. So it's Sam Sick going in with that power slide, not going to get anything he's looking for because Bella Morte on that Sergeant just kind of positioning him out, keeping him knocked back there. Hextra taking a little bit of damage from Bella, but it's not going to be enough. As the Temple phase has already begun underway, Temples will be up at 5 seconds.
And actually, Sam Sick going in, pushing Bro Montana back into the line of fight from Cinder, and Hextra taking a lot of damage, and ATC is going to go down, and Bro Montana survives, though. So a little bit of a backfire there in that plan, and everyone's going to stay alive on the side of Fraud Esports.
Yeah, so Fraud is going to end up taking this middle temple. I don't think there's going to be any contest on it. They're just going to rotate to the top. Down bottom lane, we still see Freezy and How Nugent, new guy, I just fumbled it already, ends up down bottom. They're just going to be pushing back and forth. So overall, this is going to be a temple each, which is sort of lane clearance, but that middle temple is the golden spot, to be honest.
Yeah, it is, because of the way that the tower and the fountain are placed. If you get all of the shots from the middle temple in the first phase, you'll actually get more experience than if you were to get all the shots from the top temple, because the fountains are at the top instead of the tower.
So it's overall, you got to think about how you're going to play these temples. So it's not just, oh, let's take a temple, it's easy. It's all about the mechanics of the map. And as you can see, 1-for-1 temple soak from both teams. But at the moment, Fraud Esports is up on that experience by almost a full level now.
In Hirko, you can already see the rotations happening as Hal on the Tassadar has moved up to top to stay top, because the next temple phase will just be the bottom temple.
And that'll be coming up in the next couple of minutes here on the Sky Temple. So right now it's back to that lane push. Usually at this point in matches you end up seeing some sort of mercenary camp being started. As we go over to the side of Fraud Esports, they're starting with Bro Montana and Anxiety on there, so they're going to end up taking those Giants in a sort of calculated, you know, sort of let's take it. We know when the temples are going to be come up. Let's get some help.
Yeah, and after that they'll probably move to try to go after their bruisers. Both teams typically know, you'll see both teams go after their bruisers right before the next temple phase, so that the bruisers can be pushing top while they go for the temple bot. And that just kind of helps keep the pressure on top. You don't have to worry about up there, and you might even actually get a little bit of a push going as well. And so you see the team members from Fraud have started to move down here. They know that they have to rotate a little bit in advance because Bella Morte doesn't have all of that mobility as the Sergeant Hammer, and so they're just moving bot, and we may see a little bit of a fight coming in here as both teams are level 7.
You see Sergeant Hammer, just with that knockback, just knows what has to be done, and when, say I'm sick going on Anxiety there, but he or she's going to end up getting out of that with a little bit of their life left. We see the owl go out, but it's not going to actually end up hitting anything. So at this point, we do see Fraud up top with that on Kiefers and Anxiety. Going to take that bruiser camp now. But down bottom, like you were saying before, is that sweet spot. That is the next phase of the temple.
Yeah, and it seems like so far Fraud's not really going for it. They want to pick up their bruisers, which Luxury did not pick up. So it may be that they just decide to push. They've already got the lane pushed quite well thanks to that Tassadar. And so Bella Morte just might sit here and try to defend as best as possible as the rest of his team members just go ahead and push up top.
And just looking at the talents really quick on the side of Fraud, for just kind of talking about that at the bottom. Oh, Tyrande ends up getting taken out. I'm not sure exactly where. I don't know if it was top lane or mid, but she does go down. So that's going to be 2 kills on the side of Fraud Esports. But down below, like I was saying, I was thinking maybe they would take Mule just in case this bottom wouldn't end up going down. But just from the talent picks that I'm seeing now, there was no Mule picked this match.
Yeah, Tassadar choosing to go for that static charge just to make sure that he can deal a bit more damage. And then Tyrande not going for it, but you'll notice that she actually did take Celestial Attunement at level 1, so she is going for a bit more healing as well, since she is the sole support.
Yeah, that soul support, I don't know if it's working in their favor at
Yeah.
the moment. A lot of damage on the side of Fraud Esports. Freezy getting stunned
Ooh.
there. Don't check the bushes alone like that. That will end up getting you killed every single time, and Fraud Esports knows what to do and ends up taking him down.
Yep, and now they've got time to push on bot. Falstad will be up in a few seconds and can fly in, though. That's one nice thing about him, as well as with the ETC once he can get stage dive. But this is already a lot of pressure on this bottom four, especially with the fact that they've got Bellamorte on that Sergeant Hammer.
We see on the side of Team Luxury, they finally have their level 10s, but they are still a level down, and now there is 2 outer forts already destroyed in favor of Fraud. So they're doing very, very well here on kind of knowing when they need to engage and take down forts. And Kiefer's trying to go in on Say I'm Sick, pulls it back with the overpower. A lot of damage coming out. Rain of Vengeance also, but it's not going to be enough. Kiefer's with that Lightning Breath just doing immense damage to the whole team. We see the blast come out from Falstad, and wow, just a lot of action going on in a little bit of time. We see Tyrande, the only support heals, end up going down. Big D is being chased. Cinder, Freezy, all left very, very low, and just an amazing team fight from Fraud. And I think it comes back to the point that there's no actual support on the side of Luxury.
Yeah, I think maybe that with the Tyrande, Falstad, and Jaina, they were just looking to be able to burn someone as fast as possible, someone that was judgmented, possibly by Tyrael, but it's just not, they're just not burning somebody fast enough. And with not only the heals from Uther and shields from Tassadar, but there's a divine shield on the side of Uther that's going to make it very difficult for them to be able to burn someone down.
And at the moment, you see the next phase of temples has arrived. 2 temples, 1 middle, 1 bottom, both being controlled by each team, so it's not going to be an uneven favor for one side. But we see here that on the side for Fraud, they're coming over here. They want to steal Luxury's camp, and they're going to end up getting it here. And oh, Hex is in a rough position here, as Hex is now dead.
Rough position because she has died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
that was a very good catch on the side of Fraud Esports, and now because of that, they also have their level 13 talents, their talent tier ahead. And I thought maybe they're going to go for the boss, but no, I think they're just going to keep pushing and getting all the lanes pushed right up to the front door of Luxury.
It'd be nice if they can get all these gates and towers down, so they don't really have to worry about the temples doing all that extra work. And I think that's what they want to do here, as you see on the side of Fraud. They're just consistently pushing here with this to get that down. Good play from Fraud. Unfortunately, Luxury has to kind of sit back and defend at this point.
We never really went over the heroics, I'm just remembering.
Yeah,
So,
so much,
thought I might.
so much stuff's going on.
Right, so while the boss is maybe going to be taken, or at least posture around, we've got Stage Dive, Water Elemental, Judgment, Starfall, and Hinterland Blast for Team Luxury, and Lightning Breath, Napalm Strike, Divine Shield, Rain of Vengeance, and Archon on the side of Fraud Esports.
Again, that Divine Shield getting picked up, no Divine Storm. So, interesting, and it's working in their favor. It's working for a lot of teams nowadays instead of that extra stun where they need to have that tank, or they need to have that damage in that fight a couple extra seconds. And Big D trying to get some vision here of what they're going to end up doing, and this might be over a boss fight.
I'm actually really interested. Vala picked up Spell Shield here, so just trying to mitigate some of the damage being put out on the side of Luxury, especially probably with that Jaina and Falstad. And there goes the Judgment. Falstad is going to hit Hinterland Blast, but an amazing Divine Shield actually saves the Vala, and there goes Tyrael and ETC. Diablo's dropped, but he has Soul, so he's going to be right back up. And now they're chasing after Freezy, Hextra, and Cinder, who are going to back away to the safety of the keep.
And very, very good play from Fraud Esports. Just to recap that play with the Hinterland Blast, Anxiety actually was in the bad part of that. We saw Tyrael Judgment in on her, ends up getting the stun. Then we also see Hinterland Blast about to go down, but Uther with that Divine Shield actually ends up saving Anxiety from a lot of damage. So very good call from Uther, Bro Montana, on that engage.
Yeah, that was a clutch Divine Shield. And now Sam6 trying to come in, and Keepers is going to push him back. Already Sam6 going down. That's going to be a quick ETC kill. Now an overpower on Hextra is going to allow them to take out Tyrande as well. And once again, 3 members of Luxury are having to run away.
And it's not looking good for Luxury either. As you see, Boss is down bottom. We have Fraud Esports level 16 talent choices coming out here. And it's not looking good. Sky Temple is known to be one of those maps that snowballs. Yet again, it's even worse on this map than other maps comparatively. But next phase is up, Temple phase. So this is going to be even more damage going to Team Luxury.
Oh yeah, and I really applaud them choosing to push with the boss. Fraud being able to go and pick up the temple afterward. They know that after the boss has gone down, they will have time to get away and go pick up this temple, and Luxury will have to push back their lanes a bit, and especially that bottom lane, which is now open to catapults.
Bottom Temple's doing a lot of work too, as it's going to end up taking that middle keep out of this game. So that's going to be 2 down on the side of Luxury. It's not looking very promising at this point, and that's going to take the tower down, and it's going to have some additional ammo here, the last charges of it. It's going to take at least some damage off of these towers, but yeah, Fraud Esports definitely brought their A game this match.
Oh yeah. We do see Tyrande has picking up Overflowing Light, so still trying to just up her heals a little bit, but the healing numbers, even Tassadar is out healing her, and not to mention the Uther, so a lot more sustainability on the side of Fraud.
Yeah, they're overall doing a better job, and just to kind of look while they're doing Mercenaries at this point, we have on the side of Uther, he's at about 25,000 healing at this point. Tyrande only with 8.4. So you can see the major difference of why you should have an actual support and not a semi half on half. We even see the Tassadar pushing out that 17,000 healing also. So just having Tyrande as a support heal is not working.
Right. I'm right there with you, and level 16 talents have now been picked up by Luxury, so they have even stolen the offensive sieges there from Fraud, but Fraud are pushing up top. They've got Bruisers pushing in there after the keep. They are going to probably back up here a bit. Anxiety actually been caught by a Lunar Flare, but is going to actually getting frozen, trying not to get hit. Is going to receive a Divine Shield, and now Big D is a little bit out of position, and Sam6 in there as well. They're both taking a lot of damage trying to get out. They weren't able to take anybody out, and instead Jaina and Tyrande were dropped, and Anxiety actually really following does get the final hit on Tyrael.
Very good job from Fraud all around. Heals, damage, situational, body blocking, everything worked in their favor in this little engage that just happened. And overall, yeah, Team Luxury got their 16, but they're just going to say, hey, we just got our 20s. GG's. And as you can see, guys are just saying it's over. The match is over.
Yeah, that'll be it. Fraud Esports will move on to the semis, and this will be the end of this run for Team Luxury.